Hello, sports history fans. I'm Joe Zagorski with the podcast Pro Football in the 1970s. You're about to jump into another thrilling sports history moment. But first, let's dive into today's sponsor just in time for the holiday season. Introducing Art of Words, the brainchild of word artist Dan Duffy from Philadelphia, which is near my hometown. Dan meticulously crafts stunning images by handwriting relevant words from some of the greatest sports moments in time. These unique, budget-friendly illustrations are the perfect gift, sparking cherished memories and capturing hearts. Choose from city skylines, sports, history, and musicians to find a piece for everyone. And here's the exciting part. For that sports fanatic in your life, gift them a piece of their favorite team or player's history. Art of Words tells a compelling story. Explore collegiate stadiums, each meticulously crafted with every football victory etched in words. Or venture into baseball stadiums, handwritten with every player from the team's illustrious history. Don't wait. Order a print today for yourself and your loved ones this holiday season. Transform your wall into a gallery of captivating art and surprise your family and friends with a print of their own. Use the code SHN15 at artofwords.com for a 15% discount on your order in November and December. Visit Art of Words, where words magically transform into stunning art, evoking cherished memories and touching the hearts of those you care about. Again, use the code SHN15 for 15% off at artofwords.com. Happy holidays.
This is Jeremy McFarland for the Football is Family podcast. And I think this year in 2020, it should have taught us a lot of things that will aid us from this point on. Maybe it has taught us to be more patient and understanding. Maybe it has taught us to value the little things in life, or maybe it has taught us to look back and see how truly blessed we've really been. But maybe I think one of the things, if not the top thing that it should have taught us, is to value the people who are in our lives more than we did before. Hopefully you take this moment to be thankful for your family and to let them know how you truly feel about them. Remember, we are not promised tomorrow. Make sure you're using today to show your love for your family. Now, I know this podcast is about football, but in the title of this podcast, I said it's football is family. So you have the football aspect and you have the family aspect. And that's what today's guest is all about. He's very special to me. He's my father, Mark McFarland. Growing up, he used to take me to Vanderbilt football games. I don't think he ever took me to a game where Vanderbilt actually won, but he did take me to games. And he even took me between my freshman and sophomore year in college to the Pro Football Hall of Fame, even though he is not a football fan himself. When I asked him to be a guest on this podcast, he wondered what we were going to talk about because he isn't a football fan. But I hope you enjoyed this interview because I asked him questions about what it was like growing up and the Thanksgivings that were very special to him. And maybe through this interview, you'll see what makes Thanksgiving special to you. While you're in between the 3 games today and your third helping of turkey and dressing, take a moment and subscribe to this podcast. And also check out the other great podcast for the Sports History Network. And if you would like to be on the Football's Family podcast, message me at Jeremy_McFarland on Twitter or on the Football is Family Facebook page. Thank you and have a great Thanksgiving. And we'd like to welcome everybody back to Football is Family. And I've got a special guest tonight. Would you like to introduce yourself?
Well, I am your father, Mark McFarland.
Well, see there. When we talk about Football is Family, you can't get much closer than that. I'm going to give you a little backstory about this discussion today. My dad has told me several times he's not much of a football fan, but he's done a couple of things football-wise for me. He's taken me to some Vanderbilt games, and I remember one game, Daddy, where you took Jamie and me, my sister and me, and it was raining. It was raining, so we sat through a Vanderbilt football game in the rain. But he also took me to Canton, Ohio, to the Pro Football Hall of Fame. So you've gone through the ringer when it comes to football, and I appreciate that. But today is not about football. This episode should land on Thanksgiving. So the one thing I want to talk about is one of the things about Thanksgiving to me that is very special is the aspect of family. So I want to ask you some of your favorite Thanksgiving memories.
Well, the idea of Thanksgiving is so full of the idea of family. You can go all the way back. I was raised for years on a little country farm in Hickman County, Tennessee. And Hickman County is where I live now. But it was a very rural farm. We didn't even have, we still had the old outhouses. So it was the idea that, we had the chickens, chicken coops and the pig sties and stuff like that. But my mother always made sure we had that, we had the meals and the idea of getting together in that dining room, which the house has long since been torn down, but I can remember it vividly. The idea of Thanksgiving is family in so many ways, and and that reflects the fact that we need to be thankful for our families.
Well, especially this year, considering that, even though I heard today that there is a vaccine available for COVID, is not going to be readily available until January, February of 2021. This whole year, we have been arm's length away from people, and it's made family even more special than before. But some of the memories that I have growing up, we'd always go to my aunt's house, and I don't know if we're going to be able to do that this year, but we always go to my aunt's house, and we would there walking in, Uncle Roger would always have the Cowboys game on. And I remember one year we were at my grandmother's house, and we stayed there over for hours, and I would go back and forth to that turkey and just graze. Why is that such a memory that we hold on to? I don't know.
The idea of being thankful, and of course, again, that's the thing behind Thanksgiving, obviously. But I can remember going to my one of my grandmothers, and the big thrill of getting to stay all night with her. One of the big thrills was that I'd walk across the railroad. We'd walk across the railroad to go to the store right beside or near her house. And she would let me choose the cereal that we were going to have for breakfast the next morning. And that was the big thrill. I got to choose the cereal that you got. And for parents, that would be one of the things that you need to remember. And the small things. You never know what a child is going to remember. You think about the big things. And I can remember many years ago getting a pair of binoculars from my father, who is long since passed. And I can remember him taking me to the edge of the old farmhouse porch. And we went out that Christmas night and looked up at the stars, through the binoculars, which after more than 50 years, I still have.
it's memories like that when you think of all the things that you have. Um, they go away, but the memories don't.
One of the things to be thankful for is pictures, and one I literally have thousands, probably thousands, a few thousand pictures, or and always write on the back who those pictures are, because a year from now, 2 years from now, or your grandchildren from now, they will need to know. Be thankful for those pictures. And pictures of the day, of course, are on disc. So I don't know how they'll be handed down to generations to come.
If you can tell our listeners one thing that you would want them to be thankful for, just one thing that this coming Thursday, whenever Thanksgiving is, I don't have the date in front of me, but the date that this is released, what is the one thing that you feel that they should be thankful for this year?
For this year, that God has blessed us in so many ways. First and foremost, He blessed us with His Son. God has blessed us with the strength and to withstand this horrible time. We have heard about these types of times in times past. In 1918 or 19, when you had a horrible infection going around. And here, our children, our grandchildren will remember this for many years to come. But the fact that here we are talking about it in November shows that we need to be thankful for it, that we have been able to survive.
Now, one thing that I've gotten from you is my love for history. And if I remember correctly, that it was during the Civil War that the idea of Thanksgiving was really introduced. They went through a hard, this country went through 4 or 5 years of just brutal hatred. And to take one day to be thankful for something is amazing. So I've come up in my head the 4 F's of Thanksgiving: faith, family, food, and football. Now, these are things that I have lived by for several years. But I want to say that there's one special memory that I've gotten from this man right here that he doesn't know, but I'm going to let him know, is that each year, now this year is going to be different because I'm going to put up Christmas pretty soon because it's just 2020 and we're going to have something happy. But each year we would watch the Macy's Day Thanksgiving Parade, the Macy's Thanksgiving Day Parade. And we would have to watch until Santa comes down the middle. And that, to me, starts my Christmas season. And I got that from you starting some habits long ago when I was growing up there in Dixon. But I'm thankful for the fact that you've been a great example to me. So thank you for that.
Well, I'm thankful that I've been blessed with that opportunity. There's, Thanksgiving. Thanksgiving kind of gets chucked under or put to the side a little bit because Christmas. Now, it's Christmas seems to come earlier and earlier. You go into the stores now, and you already see, of course, Christmas.
I already heard music today, and it's November the 9th.
And but the idea of Thanksgiving, it's the idea of course, the families getting together. We've already planned. Your cousin is going to have Thanksgiving up at her house, up in Nashville. So, and the Thanksgiving, the times that you have, the traditions. There's nothing wrong with traditions. As a matter of fact, that's what makes a lot of things just wonderful. You look forward to it, and of course, the idea used to be the day after Thanksgiving. Christmas was on its way, but now, of course, Christmas seems to be a little earlier getting each year.
Well, it's like the song says, we need a little Christmas, but let's go through Thanksgiving first. And the thing that I could tell you that, we had a small family at one point, and now it's not so small. But Lord willing, we will have a good Thanksgiving, and I hope everybody else does too. Now, football is involved. The Cowboys play, the Lions play every year, and I hope y'all enjoy that. But first and foremost, be around your family if you can, and make sure that they know that you're grateful for them. And I want to thank you, Daddy, for spending some time with us tonight.
Well, you're welcome. Thank you for letting me have the opportunity. And the idea of the footballs, not only the professional, but of course the high school teams are so special too.
They are.
There's they just they're just a kind of a place that people just love to go, and of course they love to watch their children, but it's a time for community to get together as well. And that's what makes high school special as well. And I understand that Alabama has a football team too. Isn't that right?
Yeah, they're okay.
They're okay.
Yeah,
right.
they were good at one point when Forrest Gump played for them, but I'm not sure about now.
Well, it's always been, here in Tennessee, the rivalry between the different teams and in college and so forth. So it's wonderful entertainment as long as it just stays entertainment and people just enjoy it.
That's right. Well, again, thank you. And y'all, thank you for listening. And this is yet another reason why family is important, but football is family.
This podcast is part of the Sports History Network, your headquarters for the yesteryear of your favorite sport. You can learn more at sportshistorynetwork.com.
We at the Sports History Network are so glad to introduce to you a new addition to our lineup, the Gridiron Greats Magazine Podcast. It's a weekly podcast that focuses on the history and memorabilia of North American football since its inception in 1869. It's hosted by Bob Swick, the publisher and editor of Gridiron Greats Magazine, and Joe Squire's a longtime contributor to that magazine. The podcast was launched in 2017 and has over 150 episodes that you can listen to now on the Sports History Network, as well as your favorite podcast provider. So join Bob and Joe as they go through football history, talking about the memorabilia and the great legendary players and games of the American gridiron on the Gridiron Greats Magazine Podcast.